Hello everyone, I'm Christina and welcome to another new project analysis. And this time around, this project analysis is called One Marina Garden. Okay, so this is the first project that's going to be launched in the core central region, which we call it like CCR. And this is the first to be launched in 2025. And for those who have been following very closely to the new launch market, you will realize that in 2025, there will be a few more new launch that's coming up in the CCR region. Okay, so for those who are following me closely, you will realize that for my past video, I have been doing analytical work mostly on the various floor plans so as to identify which is the best floor plan that is suitable for you and gives you a better advantage as compared to your neighbor. But whereas for this time round, because this project is going to be in the CCR regions, I'm going to take a very different approach. Instead of doing comparison of the different layouts, I will be diving into the rental yield, which I feel that is going to be the key focus because most of the buyers that are buying into this project, One Marina Garden, are investors. Why do I think that most of the buyers for One Marina Gardens will be investor? Singapore government has done up very wonderful planning for the Marina Bay area, and I have to say for the past 20 years we have seen how Marina area has transformed from the first plan that they have back in 1998. Okay, but at this point of time, what we can see that the Marina area is still a very commercialized place, and even though that the government has already mentioned that there will be upcoming transformation in the area and have like work-life balance, but honestly I feel that it is not going to happen within the next 3 to 5 years. Probably you will have to wait for even longer, such as like 10 or 20 years for it to be more welcoming for families to stay in the Marina area. Okay, so which is why I feel that majority of the buyer is going to be investor, and for investor, rental yield is going to be the crucial factor when it comes to buying a unit in One Marina Garden. Without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so for this One Marina Garden, where's the locations? So from my slide, you can see that it's very clear-cut. It is going to be at the Marina area, and you will have like a lot of those iconic landmarks that is just outside of your house, okay, such as like Garden by the Bay, Marina Bay Sands Shopping Center, Marina Bay Financial Center will be very close to you. And based on the upcoming URA plan, right, you can see from this slide here, so this is the first plot of land that is going to be launched for residential. So this is One Marina Garden, okay? Formal residential projects that will be coming up that you can see, it will be like here, okay? But what do you notice here? You will notice that the One Marina Garden is the one and only one that is going to be very close next to the Marina South MRT, which is here, okay? So currently this Marina South MRT, right, is not in use yet, okay? So back then, the SMRT actually mentioned that they will open this MRT when there is more residential around the area, okay? And so, One Marina Garden, once the TOP ready to move in, the MRT will be open for the residents that is going to be staying there, okay? So apart from that, you can see that on the left side, right, you will have like most of the central, the CBD area where you have like your Cecil Street, your Raffles Place. It's just like, I would say it's like 2 streets next to where you stay. So it's going to be like very convenient for residents who stay there and work in the CBD area. You probably will maybe maximum 10 to 15 minutes for your traveling times to work. Yeah, so it is going to be a very prime location. And beside that, because it's in the city fringe, you will be close to almost all the MRT line that is like next to you. You can easily access like the East-West line. You can also easily access to the North-South line or the North-East line, and even like the Circle line and all that. They are within your reach. You are just at most like 1 to 2 train stop away from them. Okay, then with that, you will be able to travel to all parts of the Singapore. And let's say you are going to stay there and you want to drive. You are like 2 minutes to the MCE and also 2 minutes to the ECP. But it's really very convenient. So now let's move on to more on the projects. So this project, the address will be Marina Garden Lane, and of course the developer is none other than Kingsford. Okay, so what are some of the popular projects that is built by Kingsford is Momentum Park. And because of this Momentum Park, right, it's a mega project and it has like really little defects that is found in the condo itself. So based on the BCA concourse banding, Kingsford has been awarded this band 1 for building this Momentum Park. So this One Marina Gardens is actually in District 1, and it consists of 2 blocks that you can see here. And these 2 blocks, right, one block is going to be the highest total of like 30 story, and the other block is at 44 story. Of course, they will have like level 1 with commercial, so that's where you will have like your restaurants for you to eat and also like shop. And from here we can see that there will be 1 childcare center. So I'm not gonna lie, even though I feel that this One Marina Garden, right, is mostly suitable for like investor, can't deny the fact that government do have plans to make this area to be more family oriented. Okay, eventually this area will be developed and there will be like schools that's like nearby you, but it's just that I feel that within the next 5 to 10 years it's not going to like happen that soon, because of this is like a very prime location and people are going to spend more to buy a unit there to stay. So why do people actually spend more money to buy a unit there to stay? One of the main reasons is that you can actually cut down on your travel times, you can reach to the office like within the shortest time possible. But I feel that it doesn't make a lot of sense if let's say you have like schooling kids, okay? Reason being is that currently there is no school there is in the marina area. It's inflexible for you to travel out if let's say you're going to send your kids to school, okay, in the early morning, and then you have to still come back to the CBD area for work, so it's not so feasible. But I definitely feel that it will be suitable for families that is like all the kids has already grown up, that the parents no longer have to send their kids to school, or even for those like couples, working couples, dual income with no kids, then this is a place that will be very suitable for this group of families lah. So you can see here the number of parking lots here is 445 lots, but the total number of unit here is 937. Later you will see why there is like only like half of the car park lot that is available for the residents. Most of the unit is actually, the allocation, right, is actually towards the smaller bedroom, which is like for the investor lah. And usually for those projects that is like in the city fringe area, right, the car park doesn't come with it lah, so you probably have to purchase. But for this, currently at this moment we do not have more information. Okay, so if let's say the car park is going to be very crucial to you, do remember to check it out before you commit. And next, TOP date, that means ready to key collect and also move in, is going to happen in second quarter of 2029. So onto the site plan. So from the site plan, right, you can see like the arrangement of the unit is very interesting. So you can see here. So here there is like this 3 units here, right, that is like facing the other side. So this is the better facing because this facings, right, is the one that will oversee Garden by the Bay. Okay, so you will have like the premium facing, and these 2 rows of like units here, right, the facing like in the north and in the south, right. So in the north here, right, is going to face the other residential, that's upcoming residential that's going to build up, and this unit, this side here, is going to face like overseeing like the roads, and like maybe further away is like the, I would say like the water body, the cruise area lah. Okay, so do take note that the good facing will be like this facing here, okay, the one on the left that is like overseeing the Garden by the Bay view. Okay, so obviously, so this stack 19 and stack 17 is going to be the bigger layout unit, and this stack 18 is like a 2-bedroom, which later I will show you more on the floor plans. And so same thing goes to here. Okay, so based on this site plan, you can see that they have all the necessary facility that is needed in the condo, but I don't want to like dive too much into it, because I feel that majority of the buyer here is going to be investor. So I'm going to go in quickly into the numbers and let you know the concept of what is a safer buy for you in today's markets if let's say you are going to get a unit at One Marina Garden. So next here is One Marina Garden at the artist impression. Okay, so like I mentioned always, artist impression is going to be very nice, but you roughly get the gist of it. So you can see from this picture image here, is going to be 2 blocks here, okay, and you are going to be like really close to a lot of iconic landmarks that is like just right outside your house. Let's say you were to stay here, people ask you, what is the park that is like close to you? You probably can say, oh, a park is like Garden by the Bay. Here is going to be a very prime location with lots of iconic landmarks that is going to be near you. Okay, so now onto the unit mix. So you can see, right, for one bedroom, the percentage composition, right, takes up to like about 25% here, and the two bedroom, right, there is like 2 bedroom, 2 plus study, 2 bedroom with home shelter, total will add up to be like around 45%. So all in all, this 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom add up, right, it will take up like the whole project like up to 70%. Okay, and the rest of it, right, is going to be like 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom. Okay, so 3 bedroom will take up total of 25%, 4 bedroom is like 4%, and then 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom all add up to be like the remaining 30%. So like I mentioned, because here, right, most of the buyer is going to be investor, and investor are actually looking into like the smaller units, so when they purchase, they can actually list out and also like the rental income from it lah. Okay, so in this project analysis, I'm going to dive in more on the calculation. Okay, so now on to the 1 bedroom analysis for One Marina Garden. Okay, so now you can see I have already grouped all the various 1 bedroom layout that is of the same size, which is 40 square meter, 431 square feet into one page. Okay, so for this 1 bedroom layout, right, I have omitted 1 bedroom 5 in this slide. Reason being is that layout, right, is only for 1 unit. Okay, but generally, right, that layout is actually very similar to all the 1 bedroom layout that you see here. That means you walk in, there's like open kitchens here. Okay, there's open kitchens, and then your living rooms and your master bedroom, check and drill bathroom door. Okay, that's about it. The difference that I actually kind of noticed, which is actually kind of minute, is that probably like this, the foyer like width is actually wider than the width here. So that is probably like the only differences that I can notice when I do the layout, the various layout comparison lah. Okay, so next, this is also like the other 1 bedroom layout that is available, but for these 2 units here that you see, they are actually slightly smaller, just 1 square meter smaller. That's about 10 square feet smaller, right? But one thing you do notice is that for this 2 1 bedroom unit, right, the bathroom got windows. Okay, that is like here and here. Okay, probably because they are like the corner units, right, which is why they actually can do windows in the bathroom. Okay, so let's move on to the calculations. Okay, so this time around, how am I going to do it, right? Is that for this 1 bedroom analysis, I will split it into like the 2 portions. One portion is on the rental income side, and the other portions is actually on the capital appreciation side. Okay, so stay on with me, let me explain. Understand the concept, the gist of it, and you will be safe to make a purchase at One Marina Garden. So before we study more into the marina area, I actually also studied the Tanjong Pagar area, because I find that these 2 areas, they are very similar. They are in the CBD zones, and with residential that is like at the area there, right, is targeting mainly for those expats that is like working in the area. So I feel that this is actually a very good comparison, or a case study area that we can learn from and apply to the marina area. And this circle that I circle is various projects that has like 1 bedroom. So this time around, I'm going to choose 3 projects, namely the Icon, that's like here, and also Altas and Sky Suite at Anson for my case study today. Let's move on and see how is the rental per square foot in each of the different projects. Okay, so this page here that you can see is all the rental transactions for Icon's 1 bedroom. Okay, so based on these recent transactions, right, you can see that there are like various 1 bedroom sizes ranging from 500 to 600, 600 to 700, 700 to 800. Okay, but one thing that you should notice is that you can see that with the smaller units here, right, you get a higher average per square foot for rental. Okay, so why do I actually use like the average rental per square foot? Because I feel that it will be a better comparison. Okay, because all the 1 bedroom are of different sizes, so the key gist of it, right, is to get the highest rental per square foot. So from this icon that you see here, we do observe that the smaller the unit, okay, the higher is your rental per square foot. But is that so for all the other projects? Let's find out. Okay, so now on to Altas. So for Altas, you can see they also have like various different sizes for the 1 bedroom, ranging from 500, 600, 600, 700, 700, 800, 800 to 900. Okay, so despite of having all the different sizes, we observe the same kind of patterns and that is the smaller unit that you have, the higher average rental per square foot that you can achieve. You can see like on average, right, for be it for Altas or be it for Icons, the smaller one bedroom unit, right, you will be able to achieve like a $7, $7.70 kind of like average per square foot for a unit in the Tanjong Pagar area. Okay, but you will also observe that Sky Suite at Anson, you can see that it's even smaller. Okay, it's just 300 to 400 square feet kind of like layout for the one bedroom, and I actually put the floor plan next to it. You can see here. Okay, so basically you just like you walk in, open kitchen concept, then the living room, then master bedroom, toilet. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, but even though it is like so small in size, we do observe that it has the highest rental per square foot for it. Okay, let me highlight for you. You do have to notice this. Okay, so for this Sky Suite at Anson, you do observe that it can go up to $11.50. Okay, that is really very high for a one bedroom in the Tanjong Pagar area, because on average you do see it should be around at like $10-ish, but for this particular unit it has achieved $11.50. Okay, keep that numbers in mind because that is going to be our calculations later on. So based on this, we actually do notice that for the smaller units, you will be able to achieve the highest rental PSF. Okay, be it for Sky Suite and Anson, the average is about like $10.15. For Icon, the smaller one bedroom unit you will be able to achieve here is at $7.48. Okay, and then for Altas, you will be able to achieve like $7.70. What we can calculate here is that the smaller the unit, right, the higher rental per square foot you will be able to achieve here. Okay, so I feel that if let's say you have really watched till here, you should have really got the gist of it, and that is the smaller the unit, the higher the rental PSF. So it will be making more sense to the investor. Okay, so now let's move on to the Marina Bay area. Okay, so when it comes to like the Marina Bay area, I'm going to put in extra step, okay, for the investor to know whether it will be a good safe buy, and I'm going to show you now. Okay, so for the Marina Bay area, right, I actually shortlist 3 projects, and namely is the sales at Marina Bay Residence, and also Marina One Residence. Okay, so how do we like deep dive in whether this is actually a good buy? So I actually split it into 2. So one is the purchase part, and the other part is actually the rental part. Assuming everything is like the standard norm, right, which is like you need to get like a 75% loan, and the loan tenure is like 30 years, and at current bank interest at 2.63 per annum, the monthly rental that you collect should be able to cover the monthly mortgage. Okay, so that is like check 1. And then the second check is on the average rental yield. So now that I have do like the transactions that happens for the sale at Marina Bay, one bedroom, around 600 to 700 square feet. In February, there's 2 transactions that occur. These 2 transactions, right, give you like a average purchase price of like 1.284. Okay, based on the normal conditions, right, the monthly mortgage should be at around 4,326 per month. So now let's look on to the rental side. So the rental for the one bedroom in the sale at Marina Bay, you should be able to fetch an average rental of $4,853. Okay, so one thing, the first check, rental is 4,853. Monthly mortgage is 4,326. So monthly rental can cover the mortgage. So you check on the first safety list, and then second, you can see like the average rental yield here. Okay, so I actually placed the gross rental yield formula here. It's very crucial, so maybe if you're watching this, do write down this formula because you're going to see this a lot in this video here, and it's very crucial to understand the concept of this formula so you can know what is the safe entry price. Okay, and I put this formula and I plug in all the numbers, the rental yield works out to be 4.53 here. So now on to Marina Bay Residence, 700 to 800 square feet. Okay, so you can see here, in the month of February, there's only 1 transaction that occur for this one bedroom, and the purchase price is about like 1.53. Okay, based on assuming like everything is the normal, like monthly mortgage works out to be 4,612 per month. Okay, and based on the rental transaction that we see here, you can see that on average, you can actually command about 6,275 per month. So it's definitely very safe. You can have your rental to cover your monthly mortgage. Okay, and when I plug in all the numbers in, the rental yield works out to be a very good and healthy 4.92. So now onto the next project, which is Marina One Residence, and this Marina One Residence is bigger in size, slightly bigger. In the month of February, there's 4 transactions, so on an average, the purchase price rate is at 1.61 million, and with all the standard, the monthly mortgage works out to be like 4,853. Okay, and now we see the rental side. On the rental side, you should be able to command an average rental of $4,975. But here you have to take note, even though the monthly rental is able to cover the monthly mortgage, but the gap is actually very narrow now. Okay, and when I plug in all the numbers, right, you start to realize that the rental yield actually dropped, okay, to 3.71. So for this, if let's say for investor who is going to buy in the area, you already roughly have a gist of what is the accepted rental yield in the marina area. Okay, so now onto the summary. So you can see that for the sale at Marina Bay, the rental yield is 4.5. For Marina residents, the rental yield is at 4.92, which is very good, very close to 5. And then for the Marina 1 residents, is at 3.71, which is, as compared to the other two, not so healthy lah. Okay, so now seeing this average 3 condo, right, we can actually kind of conclude for the 1 bedder in the Marina area, we should be getting an average 4%. This is what is currently accepted in the market here. So with this number in mind, right, we will be able to gauge, okay, what is the safe entry to enter for One Marina Garden. So now, on to the first question, which we are going to look into the capital appreciation side now. Okay, one question that my client always asks me: can Marina Bay property make money? Okay, so based on whatever that we hear from, like, be it from our other agent friends or friends, that Marina Bay area, they don't make as much profit as compared to the others in terms of the capital appreciation side. Is that really so? Let's see. Okay, so now I actually plunk all the different condo into one chart, and you can see the blue one represent the sale at Marina Bay, yellow is Marina Bay residence, and then the red one is actually Marina 1. And you can see among these 3 projects, right, Marina Bay residence, even though it grew, but not grew a lot, it grew at 1.7% since the first quarter of like 2020 till now, at this moment, the first quarter of 2025. But even though it's like at 1.7, at least it's not making a loss. And then for the sale at Marina Bay, you can see that during the same period of time, the price actually grew up to 9%. Okay, among these 3, only one project, which is the Marina 1, actually see a climb at 6.22%. Okay, but based on this chart here, right, we can see that why is that so? At the end of this, at this moment, at Q1 of 2025 here, right, you do see that the prices are actually, the gap are actually closing. They are very similar to one another. Okay, when the gap is closing, right, it also means that the price is like more or less the same lah. So for those, right, that purchase here, right, like at the beginning of the Q1 of 2020, when you purchase it at a very high, right, then when the price narrow gap down, right, like is closing, right, it will means that the one that purchased like at this point of time, which is like the way too high price, will see a loss law. Okay, so that is like one explanation. But another way of explanations, so this one you really have to listen very closely, understand the concept behind it. Okay, so now you can see that the first thing that we learn is that the average accepted rental yield in this area for 1 bedroom is how much? Okay, it's 4%. Okay, so for the rental that you are going to collect here, right, at this point of time, at this market, is going to be more or less the same. Okay, so here is going to stay the same. Okay, stay the same. Okay, because just now you see that the rental yield for this Marina 1 residence is at 3.7. Okay, in order for this Marina 1 rental yield from 3.7 to go up to 4%, for you to go up to 4% here, in order for this rental yield to go up, and your rental income kind of like stays stagnant, right, because it's like all the people that is like renting around the area for 1 bedroom is like roughly this range, right, then you only left with like one choice, which is the property value has to come down. The property value has to come down in order for the rental yield to go up to 4, which is like the accepted level. And that is the reason why the property price come down to match up to the current 4% rental yield in the Marina area. Okay, so this is like, I would say Marina 1 resident is trying to reach the equilibrium, okay, to match up to the surrounding area, the average rental yield. Okay, so you need to understand this concept. Okay, so in order for the current rental to go up to 4%, okay, to go up from 3.7 to 4%, the only thing that can cause the rental yield to go up, your property price has to come down. So that is the only way that can be done. Okay, so understand this concept and you will be able to work out what is the safe entry price to enter for One Marina Garden. Okay, so now to the exciting part, which is what is the safe price for the 1 bedroom at One Marina Garden. So after all that we have discussed in the previous slide, that we have really concluded that the marina area, right, the rental yield for 1 bedroom should be looking at 4%, okay? But now I'm more conservative, right? I choose a rental yield of at least 4.2% to do my calculations here, so you can actually know what is a safe entry price, okay? And based on the first part of our discussions, we actually conclude that you should get the smallest 1 bedroom unit possible. So the smaller 1 bedroom for this One Marina Garden is the 420 square feet unit here. Okay, that is like you can see here. So in order for you to have like a $10 rental PSF, right, which I think is doable, because on average now, right, the rental yield that we see is about $7-ish, okay? And those are actually of a bigger size unit and they are non-harmonized, okay? And for this One Marina Garden, right, it's going to be smaller and harmonized, okay? So for us to get like $10, which has already done and achieved at the Tanjong Pagar area, the Sky Suite at Anson, okay? So $10, that means in future when you have your key collection, to achieve $10 means that you can lease out that 1 bedroom for 4,200 is actually very doable, okay? And in order for you to achieve like this 4.2 rental, you need to purchase it below 1.2 mil, okay? So likewise, you want to have like the rental PSF per square foot at $11, okay, here, $11, then your rental will be 4,620, okay? And you need to purchase it below 1.3, okay? And me trying to do a guesstimation of what is the possible rental that you can get. Currently, based on the Sky Suite at Anson, they have really achieved, remember just now, at 11.57 cents. Yeah, so if this Marina one, right, you can get like $12, given that this is going to be a harmonized project, it is actually very achievable. For 5,000 rental per month, right, to get 4.2, right, you cannot purchase it more than 1.45. Okay, so this is how you can use this table here. And for this purchase of 1 bedroom at One Marina Garden, right, besides focusing on the rental, you also need to properly plan your exit strategy. Okay, like those property that is like in the outskirt area, like more for the family, like the RCR or like OCR regions. For these CCR regions, it is very important, right? You need to always secure a tenant, then sell with tenancy. Okay, that's because one thing is that you save the next buyer, which is also going to be an investor, okay, this hassle of finding a tenant. And if let's say you can secure them at $12 rental PSF, right, next time you want to sell at like 1.45, which still gives you like 4.2 rental yield, is going to be very, very attractive to the next buyer. Reason being, they know that in the marina area, the rental yield will be at 4% minimum, okay? But your unit, besides having this $12 rental PSF, which is like high, and you still have like a 4.2 rental yield, which is also high as compared to the average 4%, you will be able to sell for like 1.45, 1.5, okay? And given the price guide that One Marina Garden has launched, the 1 bedroom is going to be like around like 1.16, around there about. So if let's say you are able to get a unit at around that pricing, and by the time you get your key, you rent out, do a few years of rental collections, and then sell it with tenancy. Besides the rental income that you are going to collect, you also be able to have like the capital appreciation side. So let's say if you were to purchase it at like maybe 1.25 and you sell it at 1.45, you already make a 200k profit just based on the capital appreciation side, okay? And if you were to do the calculations, on top of it, you still have your rent income, okay? So that will also add up to your profit in this investment portfolio lah. So likewise, you can also use the table below, which is the 431 square feet. You can roughly know, like you shouldn't purchase it more than how much, okay? But given the look at it, right, if let's say you are able to purchase it less than, I feel, okay, less than 1.5 is very good. Reason being, currently at this marina area, the resale, right, has already gone up to like 1.5-ish already, okay? And based on what we can see, the Marina Bay area, right, even though the resale is transacting at 1.5, right, the current rental yield that they have is at 4%, okay? So if let's say you are going for this One Marina Garden and get it below 1.5, it's going to be a steal for you, okay? So it's like with these numbers that you have at the back of your mind, you really know what is safe for you to enter. Okay, so now onto the 2-bedroom of One Marina Garden. Okay, same thing. I'm going to put on the layout of the 2 bedrooms for you to do a comparison. So they have a lot of various sizes for the 2-bedroom, so I'll range it from like the smallest to the biggest. Okay, so I will just run through it very quickly because I feel that the layout here is actually not very important. It's mostly on the rental yield side. Okay, so you can see here this 2-bedroom 1 and 2-bedroom 6, they are both dumbbell, very similar. The square feet is 60 square meters, 646 square feet. Okay, I can't see any difference. Okay, so if you are going to buy a unit here, do take note that the calculation is going to be very important, not so much on the layout. Onto the next layout, which is slightly bigger, just 1 square meter bigger, and then at 657 square feet, you can see same thing, not much different. But one thing for this 2-bedroom 4, it is actually a traditional layout. Other than that, nothing special. Next, this is another bigger, that means it's like a slightly bigger 2-bedroom layout that you can see here at 62 square meters, 667 square feet. Okay, what do I see any difference here? Is that enclosable kitchen. That at least this kitchen here that you see is enclosable, and it's actually kind of rare for the project that is like around the marina area, I would say. So you can consider. Okay, on to the next layout, which is the 2-bedroom plus study. Okay, so this is the special one because this unit here is bay view facing. That means you can overlook at the garden by the bay view. Okay, so you can see it's normal 2-bedroom, then with this study here, open kitchen concept, and that's about it. This is something that I do not know, but why do they come up with is like 2-bedroom with home shelter. Okay, but I do understand that each of the individual developer, they will have like a specific percentage of like home shelter that they need to build, but it's okay. We take a look at here. So this is the 2-bedroom with home shelter at 64 square meters, 689 square feet. Okay, and enclosable kitchen. That's what I noticed. Next, same thing here, enclosable kitchens. That's about it. The home shelter is just behind the kitchen, whereas for the previous one, it's just like parked at like one side. And then another slightly bigger 2 bedrooms with home shelter, 67 square meters, 721 square feet. This is like another layout. But do take note that this unit here, which is stack 4, bay view, so it's fantastic. Okay, and then the next, which is the biggest 2-bedroom unit here at 68 square meters, 732 square feet. This is the layout. Nothing special. So let's move on to the analysis for 2-bedroom. So for this 2-bedroom analysis, right, I'm going to do it very similar to the 1-bedroom, so you really get like the gist of it. So I will be covering 2 sections. One is the rental income, the second is the capital appreciation side. Okay, same thing. I'm going to use the Tanjong Pagar 3 condos that we have discussed previously in the 1-bedroom, right? So now for Icon, okay, the 2-bedroom rental that is like 9,000 to 1,000 square feet, the average PSF is at $6.55. Okay, and for Altas, which is like the 2-bedroom is slightly bigger, at 1,100 square feet to 1,200 square feet, or the average rental PSF is looking at $6.57. Okay, and then for Sky Suite and Ensigns, which is like slightly smaller. Okay, it's still smaller as compared to the other 2 projects, the Icons and the Altas, right? But the average rental PSF is $8.21. So from here, we can also conclude that the smaller the unit size, the higher is the rental per square feet. So it will make more sense for investor to buy as small as possible so as to keep your rental PSF, rental price per square foot, right, higher. So now onto the rental yield of Marina Bay. So same thing, I will put in additional check. Besides all the rental yield that we are going to calculate, I also want to make sure that if let's say you were to invest in a unit there, you will make sure that your average rental should be able to cover your monthly mortgage. Okay, so based on the sale at Marina Bay, the 2-bedroom unit, which is about like 800 to 900 square feet, right, the average transactions the transactions here that we see, we can conclude that the average purchase price is about 1.7, okay? And assuming you can get like 75% loan, 30 years loan tenure at 2.63 per annum, your monthly mortgage will work out to be 5125 per month, okay? And we can see that the average rental for 2-bedroom at the sale at Marina Bay is about 5888. Yeah, so you can see that your average rental can still cover your monthly mortgage. That's one thing we passed. Then the next one is that when I put in all the numbers in, the rental yield works out to be 4.16, which is just now for the 1-bedroom, we actually kind of conclude that the average accepted rental yield is at 4%. So this rental yield for this 2-bedroom at the sale is at 4.16. It's also very good. Now, Marina One Residence. This Marina One Residence 2-bedroom is slightly bigger, 1,001 to 1,002 square feet for this 2-bedroom layout. So we can see the transaction that happens recently in December. The average purchase price here, right, is at 2.3 million. And with everything's the standard and norm, the monthly mortgage works out to be 4,612. We can see that the rental that is like collected here for the 2-bedroom on average is 7,380. Okay, and from this we can see that when I put in all the numbers, right, the rental yield is at 3.85. Okay, so when we do this two comparison, right, we can kind of conclude that the 2-bedroom rental yield in the Marina area is also looking at 4%. Okay, so same thing, what is the sale price for 2-bedroom in this Marina area? Let's say I'm trying to get at least a 4% rental yield. Okay, and I know that on average, right, the rental at this point of time for those that is like the non-harmonized project, they can get like 5,000, 6,000 per month. So in order for me to remain this 4% rental yield, right, and for me to collect like at least a $9 rental per square feet, right, my monthly rental will be 5,814, which is doable. But in order for me to work this out, right, my purchase price today cannot be more than 1.76. Okay, so same thing, when just now we study the Tanjong Pagar area, you already see like the Sky Suite has really achieved like a $10-ish kind of like per square foot, rental per square foot. Okay, so for One Marina Garden, which is going to be a harmonized project, achieving at $11 rental per square foot, okay, it means that the rental is like 7,000 per month. Also, it's a bit challenging, but it depends on your risk appetite. You shouldn't purchase it more than 2.15 mil. Okay, so based on the gut price, right, the 2-bedroom is going to start at like 1.8. So I feel that if let's say you can purchase anything that is like anything below 1.9, you will still be able to make a profit. So same thing likewise, like the 1-bedroom side, I feel that the strategy here is that you need to collect like a few years of rental. You have to have like a good mix of like the rental income and also the capital appreciation side, so as to your portfolio or investment a very healthy and good with good profit, I would say. But it is very important that when you sell with tenancy, and also make sure that you are able to secure like at least $11 kind of like rental per square foot. So when you sell, right, you can sell it for like 2.15, and if let's say you were to purchase it like say 1.9, you have already like achieved like close to 200 capital appreciation here. And on top of it, with your few years of rental income, right, it is going to be a very significant and good investment here. Okay, but of course it really boils down to a very good queue number, because in the recent launches we do see that there is like a lot of people joining the ballot but didn't get a very good queue number for it. I feel that if you can get it like at 1.9, anything that's below 2 mil, right, is good to go. At this moment, like Parktown 2-bedroom is already like 1.9, Trump Park is already like 1.95, and even for Alta, right, which is Clementi side, is already like 1.7. And so if let's say you can get One Marina Garden, right, at like 1.8, 1.9, just get it already. Okay, so it all boils down to like a good queue number and what is available to you at the point of time when you ballot and you decided to purchase. So given that now I see it on the calculations here, right, anything that is like below like 2, like if let's say you can get like 1.9, 1.95, go get it already. Okay, so now onto the 3-bedroom of One Marina Garden. Okay, so for a 3-bedroom, right, there is like a lot of different layout. So I will run through the layout first, then I will let you know which is my top choice. Okay, so this 3-bedroom, right, they have like 3-bedroom compact, 3-bedroom dual key, 3-bedroom premium. So we begin with the first one. So this one is the 3-bedroom, the smaller 3-bedroom here, which is at 84 square meters, 904 square feet. And for this, it's actually a premium stack because it is actually this unit here and it oversees the bay view here. So this is the smallest 3-bedroom among the other 3-bedroom, right? And the indicative price that the developer state, right, it is starting for 2.45 mil. Okay, so this is actually a very, very good price. But then when I come to think about it, right, if let's say you are facing the bay viewer, starting price at 2.45, a bit too good to be true lah. Like, why got so cheap? Usually, right, with bay view, even Kingsford past launches behavior, the pricing strategy, right, you should have like at least a 5% incremental, right? But launching at 2.45 is too good to be true lah. But when I went down to the show flat and take a look at the model, I actually kind of know why is that so, okay? This 2.45 mil is probably for this 0203 unit lah, okay? Because this unit here is facing right directly into the function room. Every time your residents that is like going to have like a party, you will know, you'll be the first to know, and you will be kind of like part of their party, because like whoever uses there, you're going to see them like directly, okay? So based on my guesstimations and what I observed for Kingsford is that I believe 0303 they will have like a very significant price jump, okay, probably like additional 150k or like 200k kind of like jump for that lah, okay, but that's my guess. On to the next layout, which is the slightly bigger one at 91 square, 980 square feet. Okay, so this layout, right, don't be too shocked by this like weird odd shape here. It's not going to affect your unit, neither is it going to calculate into your square feet, because this is like a harmonized project, okay? All the layouts that is like available at your house, right, that you can see here is going to be very, very squarish, okay? This is a very typical 3-bedroom layout, okay, and the unit is going to be here. And this funny shape here, right, is just part of the facade of the building, but it's not going to affect your layout, okay? Another layout here, bigger, slightly bigger, 94 square meters, 1012 square feet, okay? Very squarish, very rectangular, and it's available here at this stacks here, okay? Very typical layout. Okay, now to the 3-bedroom dual key layout. Only one layout lah, huh? So only one layout, and it's going to be at this stack 11 here. Okay, so dual key layout is very interesting is that because you can see this whole area that I boxed up, right? You can actually make it into like a studio unit, okay? And then it can have like a different separate kind of like living conditions here. That means if let's say you do not need like so many bedrooms, you can actually list out one of the bedroom or to kind of like reduce your monthly mortgage. Or if you're an investor, you can actually buy one unit and list out the 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom. That means it will increase your the rental for every month lah. Okay, so now the 3-bedroom premium is getting bigger and bigger now. So you can see that because it's like the premium stack already, it starts to have like more differentiations on giving you like the dry kitchens and the wet kitchens, very typical layout, okay? And it's very decent size, 99 square meters, 1066 square feet. It's actually quite big for a harmonized project lah. The next layout, which is the slightly bigger, 109 square meters, 1173 square feet. Okay, this is another premium layout, but for this layout, there is no differentiations here in the bed and dry kitchen, okay, but you have a very long kitchen here. Okay, and here is going to face the bay view, so it will have like very awesome view here. Okay, another layout here, also very premium awesome view here. It's all bay view. So this is going to be very premium. You have like a dry and a wet kitchens, landscape living, fantastic. Okay, now on to my favorite. Okay, so my top choice for the 3-bedroom unit is definitely the dual key. Okay, so if let's say you have seen my previous video, right, I have been always saying that try to avoid the dual key. Like, it's very hard to sell because in those projects, in the outskirt project, right, dual key are not suitable for own stay lah. Dual key mainly for investor, okay? But whereas for this One Marina Garden, right, this dual key is actually quite a good investment because you can actually do a division. You can rent out the 2-bedroom and the 1-bedroom up. And based on the calculations that we do just now, right, assuming you purchase it at like 2.8, which is here, assuming you can purchase it at 2.8, I never even used like the 2.45 indicative price that is suggested by Kingsford. I literally use a higher amount, a higher quantum to do my calculations. You see that if let's say we will be able to get like the 1 bedroom with like $10 PSF, $10 rent per square foot, right, your monthly rental will be like 4,000, okay? And then for your 2 bedroom, if let's say you can get like a $9 PSF, right, that is like $5,121 per month. So when you add these two numbers up, it will give you $9,121 per month, and that will give you a rental yield of 3.9. So as compared to the average 4% rental yield, this 3-bedroom dual key, right, would be a very good product for investor to split these two portion and want to like rent it out as a 2-bedroom and a studio lah. So I feel that you need to see like the different locations, like when it comes to the RCR or the OCR regions where the dual key might not be so favorable because they are mostly on own stay. But whereas for the marina area, this One Marina Garden dual key, right, is actually a very good investment product that you can actually select here. So I do another scenario. If in any case for couples who wants to have like own stay and also like part investment, this product is also for you, because that you can actually stay in this like 2-bedroom arrangement, right, and then you can list out the studio apartment, okay? And if let's say you were to do like a part rent, part own stay, right, see my calculation here, purchasing at 2.8, and you rent out the 1 bedroom at $10 PSF, right, you can get like 4,000. Okay, and based on this calculation, everything assuming the same, right, your monthly mortgage is 8,444. Okay, and you own stay the 2-bedroom side, then after all the deduction, right, your monthly mortgage for this 2-bedroom is $4,440. Okay, but if you were to get like just a 2-bedroom in the marina area for own stay, your monthly mortgage, right, is going to be like 5,700. Besides having to lower your monthly mortgage, you also be able to have this portion, this studio apartment here, right, list out to kind of like bring down your monthly mortgage, okay? And eventually, if let's say at times when you need to sell it off already, you also have the capital appreciation side as well. This layout is actually very suitable for those investors and also for those dual income, no kids kind of like family. Okay, so if let's say you would want to have like part own stay and part rental kind of like plans in your property portfolio, this is one of the products that you can consider. Okay, so now to the 4-bedroom. So for this 4-bedroom, there's only one layout. So this 4-bedroom is 153 square meters, 1647 square feet. Okay, and it's going to be like the largest layout here, which is, you can see here, definitely overseeing the bay view. And this layout really fantastic. Okay, it's really good, very prestige, very high end. You have everything. So like I mentioned here, right, I'm not going to dive too much into the various layout because I feel that most of the buyer that's coming in here is for investment. So for this layout here that you see, right, I would say it's really for the rich. Okay, so this is the layout. There isn't going to be like a very good rental yield or anything here. So you like it, you buy it, okay, then you just let time do its job. The price will grow eventually, but definitely it's going to take a very long while. So now onto the summary sites. Okay, so when it comes to getting a unit at One Marina Garden, right, key focus is always on the rental yield. Okay, so I have done the rental yield calculations for the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom dual key in this video. And if let's say you want to get a 3-bedroom, like the smaller 3-bedroom compact, and like you want to do considerations, you can actually use the same methods to do the calculation to see whether it's worthwhile, it is safe for you to enter. Okay, but if let's say you're still unsure, always feel free to reach out to me and I will see how I can help you and advise you to know what is the safe price to enter. So second thing is to shortlist a few units based on the developer pricing strategy. This developer pricing strategy, I have already discussed it and mentioned it a lot of time in my previous video. Do see my previous video for more informations. But basically, right, there is like just this few category that I'm just going to run through it very quickly. One is the per floor jump. Okay, based on Kingsford patterns, I mean those we have observed based on the past launches, is that the per floor jump, Kingsford will always park it between like the level 2 and the level 3. Okay, so like the level 2 will be like very attractive price, and then level 3 onwards, right, then there will be like a very significant price increase. Okay, then subsequently, right, the price increase, right, per floor will be very stagnant. If that's the case, right, then you can choose more on the high to the mid like portions, because the per floor jump, if let's say is only going to be like 5 or 6,000, right, it's not going to make too much of a difference. Then just get the higher floor. Okay. And also another thing that we observe from Kingsford, right, is that they will probably put the premium on the better view side, which is going to be the bay view. So same thing, if let's say the bay view side, right, the premium is like maybe 5% or less, then you can then get a bay view. Because I remember there is one that is like a 2-bedroom plus study unit, that will probably get you a better rental as compared to those that is like facing the other residents or the roadside. Okay. But I will not dive too much into the pricing strategy for the developer side, because at this moment we do not have any official pricing, and the pricing will be known on the balloting day itself, and I can only provide an accurate pricing strategy based on the price that I have, okay, on the balloting day itself. And from there I will be able to derive a conclusions what is the safe entry price. So should you go for a bay view, or should you go for the high floor or low floor? It's not easy for me to gauge at this point of time, as I do not have any of the information. So if you have any doubt, do reach out to me and we can discuss this more in depth and know what is actually best for you and your family. So I've come to the end of my video sharing. The launch for this One Marina Garden has already begun on the 29th of March, and the booking is on the 12th of April, which is a Saturday. Don't forget to join my Telegram group to receive the latest update on Singapore property. And if you like my content today, do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next. Bye!